Hey, podcasters, thank you for tuning in to Speaking Of. This is your host, Dedge and Jon Jon, discussing real issues you want to hear. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy, Dedge and
Jon Jon.
And you are tuned into another episode of Speaking of. So we're trying something a little different here, and, we may sound a little bit different, but I think we still sound the same. You know what I'm saying? You get it? You get me?
I don't get you.
I mean, we might sound different, but we still sound the same.
I don't get you.
What you hear with the naked ear is not what you're going to hear with the spiritual ear.
Okay.
So you hear us, but you don't. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, moving on. So,
right, let's move on.
All right. So I hope that everybody has had a great week so far. We didn't get to come at you last week, drop a new episode. There are a lot of new things that are in the works with the whole Be Unstoppable Media Group. We are expanding, enhancing, and fine like wine. We getting better with time. Boom.
Boom.
What?
Booyah.
So, we definitely want to thank everybody for being along for the ride and just, sticking with us. If you've been with us from season 1 to now, or if you just came in and this is your first episode, we are just two guys sharing our opinions about various topics.
Yep.
Hoping that it can help someone, bring some light to something, or help you identify that you're not alone. So these are our own personal experiences and
our own personal opinions.
Just, kind of the sight that we have on the world today. So, just a little hint of shade every now and then, just give you a little ha-ha.
A little hee-hee.
And a ha-ha. But, so that's what we are here for. But we hit sensitive topics, and we keep it light sometimes and keep it grooving. But thanks for sticking it out with us. And there's just been a lot of things going on in the world today, and kind of some of the things that's bothered me has been the big topic of like mental health and suicides and things of that nature. And there has been a lot of like school shootings or military shootings, just some like mass shootings going on around the world. And, sometimes a lot of that can stem from
depression,
mental illness, anxiety, or whatever the case may be. And it's a topic that a lot of people in the black community just don't
want to talk about.
They don't want to talk about it. And it's a personal struggle for myself, and I feel like it can be something that can help someone. Because, a lot of people think that they're alone in this, and I just want you to understand that, hey, if you are going through depression, you are not alone.
You are not alone.
Do you climb trees?
Sometimes.
All the time?
Sometimes.
Huh. Do y'all miss Michael Jackson?
I miss Michael Jackson.
You do? Like, what do you miss about him?
No,
the music?
Honestly, I don't.
You miss the black one or the white one?
I miss the black one, but
the man or the woman?
Now you're going to. I think Michael Jackson was dealing with some depression.
I really feel like it was.
I think that was one of the things that drove him to his death.
Yeah.
I think depression was what actually probably killed him, because he was so depressed that he couldn't sleep. He wasn't getting any rest.
Yeah.
So it kind of forced him to use drugs to
because he was taking opiates, right?
He was taking opiates, but I think the drug that he was taking at the time of his death was propofol. Propofol, yeah,
something like that.
But I think the main thing that had him down was, the main thing that killed him was the depression state. Something that he probably could have gotten help for if he would have just talked to someone about it.
Yeah. But that's the biggest thing. Like, we don't want to talk about it. Because black people, it could be universal. This could be something universal. It could be for white, green, yellow, orange, whoever. It could be for 42, 3, 4, or 5.
It could be, but I think it's more taboo in the African American community.
It is very much more, to me, more taboo in the African American black community than it is in any other culture.
Right, because I feel like in the African American community, it's like something that they try to, especially within the black family, they try to push that under the rug, or they try to just, okay.
Well, so let's kind of backtrack a little bit. So, depression. Depression is a mood disorder that lasts more than 2 weeks. So, whether it be something that you've gone through, that you're dealing with. Can you really put
a time frame on it, though? Do you feel like you can?
Well, the technical definition, when you define it, when you look at it from a medical standpoint, you have to have some type of criteria to go off of.
So it's probably like a mood that you've carried on for 2 weeks
or more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like you kind of have it's, if you go through it for 13 days, I guess you can't really classify it as depression.
But on that 14th
day, you're depressed.
You're depressed. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, hey.
So
everybody got standards.
If I'm at day 5 and I'm thinking about killing myself, I'm not depressed until it gets.
You're just suicidal.
14.
I think you're just suicidal.
Oh, okay.
I think there's a difference. I think there could be a difference between suicidal and depression. Now, sometimes suicide can stem from depression.
Okay, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
So, I was about to say. So you don't think depression leads to suicide?
Not in all cases, because depression can sometimes lead to homicide. They may not want to kill themselves. They may want to kill somebody else. Right.
Hey.
So I think that there's various forms of depression.
A mental health issue.
It does.
There's depression and then there's crazy.
Yeah.
And that's two different extremes there.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful with that. So
yeah. So
just because you're depressed don't mean that you're gonna go out and kill somebody.
Right. Because so I will speak from a personal standpoint. And I don't mind talking about it because I think that I'm part white. So I think that
you think you are?
Well, I am.
But you don't look it.
Just because I'm a little cocoa.
A little.
You know what?
Cocoa.
Carry it on. But no, I have dealt with depression. So people may know that I lost my sister back in 2015. And that was my best friend. That was my road dog. Me and her had been tight. I mean, pretty much most of my life. And that was the hardest blow for me. And, I had already gone through some things. I had gone through some childhood traumas of molestation, of, not being accepted by certain people. I've gone through bullying in school. I've gone through a lot of things that, it never really dawned on me how I was feeling. I never took that because I was always met when you don't talk about your feelings. In my house, you don't talk about your feelings. Your feelings don't matter. Yeah. So I grew up in that. I grew up sweeping my feelings under the rug. I was less of a man if I showed emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
right.
That was kind of what I carried on in throughout my teenage years, then into my adulthood. So it was okay, well, you're feeling this way, and I don't really know. So I just take it as this is what life is. This is what life is like. Mm-hmm. So, but then as I grew older, and I see that there's other people that live so much more of a happier life, and it's how the hell are you so happy? How are you so positive? How are you so? It was such a different world for me. So then I started looking back at myself. I started exploring. I was like, what's something wrong with me? Something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. And, coming to find out, in my early to mid 50s, oof. In my early 20s, I
50s. But go ahead. That's neither here nor there.
I realized that I had been battling some anxiety and some depression. But I did not want to talk about it. I didn't want to get help for it. I mean, I didn't know how to because, nobody told me. Nobody talked about it. And then when you did, whenever you saw it, you saw that stigma met with I don't want to say anger, but it was like secrecy. Like, you don't talk about it. You know, whenever it came up at church or what have you, just on the sideline looking, those were things that were not supposed to be brought to the forefront.
Right.
So go ahead.
Before you go finish your story, so what were some of the signs that you saw that made you think that you were depressed?
Well, I did get to a suicidal phase. I did not want to live any longer at times.
Okay. I think we've all kind of been there.
Sometimes I often thought that my parents hated me. I often thought, because of the age gap between my sister and I, it was like always a negative. Like I was like, okay, well, my parents didn't mean to have me. You know, me and my sister 10 years apart, and my parents did not mean to have me, and the way that they're treating me, they didn't mean to have, so maybe I'm not meant to be here. So you didn't feel wanted. I ran away. I didn't feel wanted. I ran away from home. So those were the things as a child. Then growing up, I wanted to hurt animals. I got to the stage where we had like stray cats around my home, and I wanted to kill them. Like I wanted to like really like take them and like set them on fire, we go through things like that as adolescents.
Right. So do you think you're crazy, or do you think you're... I'm just joking.
Hey, sometimes I'm wondering myself. I'm like, yo, am I crazy? Like, did I really want to do that? We had a pond in our backyard. And there were times that like I really just sat there and I was like, well, what if I just jump in here and never come back up? So, like, thoughts like that, like thoughts that just saying I don't want to be here. Those were some of the more prominent factors or signs that I know of that I felt like I could have been depressed. There were times that I did not want to be around people. I did not want to interact with my cousins or friends or what have you. Even in elementary school, like, I wasn't invited around other kids that much, because it was like, I'm so different. I'm a country boy. People didn't invite me to their birthday parties and stuff like that. So it was like, I'm not wanted. I don't want to be around anyone. I just want to sit in my room. I want to sit up in my room. Just sit up in my room.
Okay, Brandon.
But, I didn't want to be around people. And I felt like I lived in a black cloud.
So what drove you to...
Is this an interview?
No. You the one that started telling the story, so I just want to go... I want to dig deeper. I want to know more.
Okay.
Can I get a little bit more?
Can I get more?
So maybe, your story might help somebody. But I'm talking about like in your adult years. So what were the signs like in your adult years? Like what in your adult years made you say, hey,
well,
I'm maybe a little depressed?
I started having... I remember having panic attacks. I remember constantly being worried about... like, I could be just driving down the road, and I would instantly worry about, am I going to flip off this bridge and, dive down into the water? No one's ever going to find me. Or, am I going to get hit by, a 18-wheeler? Or, I had so many crazy thoughts. It was like so much anxiety.
So do you think anxiety and depression go hand in hand, or can you just have anxiety and?
I feel like a high level of anxiety can cause depression. Because if you constantly deal with worry or something of that nature for so long, it can throw you into a state of depression. So that's what happened for me. Like, I was always worried. When, certain people in my life that I cared for, like that I was close with, like my siblings or what have you, whenever they would go just out or whatever, I would constantly worry about them. There was a time that I used to worry about my parents. I used to worry about my mother because she was diagnosed with a disease when I was in the 7th grade. So I would constantly worry, is this going to be the last day I see her? Is she going to die tomorrow? Is she going to die tonight? So it's just like, I feel like I got to a space where I was negative. I was just always negative. Like, I always felt like if there was something that I wanted to do, I could not do it. I wasn't going to see it to the end. It was just like that constant self